So this is technically day 2 of the motorcycle vlog. I missed day 1 because I only decided I was going to do a vlog about 4 hours into the drive. By the time we got to our destination it was dark and I was tired and I was hungry, so I didn't bother. So this is actually day 2. So myself and my friend left Ho Chi Minh around 11 AM and we were planning on driving straight to Da Lat, which according to maps.me was a 6-hour 25-minute drive. That did not turn out to be the case. We drove for 7.5 hours and it was getting dark and we were getting hungry, so we stopped off to get some food. After we left the local place where we got food, my tyre seemed to go flat, so we decided to stop in Di Linh for the night. And then we got up in the morning and repumped my tyre. So this is what I've woken up to this morning. When I say we had to pump up my tyre, I mean Paul had to pump up my tyre. The place where we ended up staying in Di Linh, I always forget the name of that place. The names of towns are a bit difficult to pronounce for me. Was probably not the best place I've ever stayed in. I've definitely stayed in worse. But the room had the most disgusting smell. It literally smelled like old people and stale cigarettes. It was pretty grim. So this is our rather fetching hotel room. I know it's a bit of a mess, but we got there kind of late and we were just really tired, so we just kind of dumped everything on the floor. If we have a look out of the window, we can see a bit of the town out there. So we're going to go for a walk into town and see if we can find somewhere that sells some sort of coffee or caffeinated product and hopefully some food. I really hope there's some food because I'm starving. If you're wondering what's happened to Paul's leg, he's burnt it on the exhaust pipe of his bike. So we've come into town looking for coffee, and so far all we've found is raw vegetables, live chickens, ducks and fish. So we're heading back to the place next to the hotel. It was kind of difficult to find much food anywhere. Nothing was in English, not that many people spoke English, so we ended up with 2 bowls of beef noodle soup. I'm a vegetarian, and I was kind of hoping that I could probably just pick off the bits of beef and give it to Paul, but it turns out it was a really, really beefy soup. There was kind of no avoiding the meat in it. So this is the place we found near our hotel where we're going to grab breakfast before we hit the road. We've ordered some Vietnamese iced coffee. Paul tried using the Google Translate app to find out what the menu said and thought that it said pancakes and nearly ordered fish balls. And this is the very beefy noodle soup. Okay, so we had food and we're ready to go. I've got my anti-dust mask on and my driving glasses and my helmet, of course. About 10 minutes down the road, the tyre went flat again as I was on the highway, so we had to stop at local mechanics and they fixed the inner tubing for me. The mechanic must have been about 14 years old, possibly even younger. I mean, he had such a baby face and he was so tiny. It's really crazy to see someone that young working so hard. We've got about 10 kilometres down the road and my tyre's gone flat again. So Paul's driven off to see if he can go find a bike place to replace my tyre. This is my mechanic and he looks about 10. So we had to wait there before we could then head off to Da Lat, which is now where we are at the moment. We'll probably stay in Da Lat for 2 nights and then we're going to head up further north and continue our journey. So the first thing we did after we checked in at our hostel in Da Lat is go to get some food. So we're off to reunite with some friends that we made in Laos a few months ago, and we're just going to grab dinner en route. This is the little local place that we found to grab dinner. Paul's ended up with loads of food and I've just ended up with fried tofu. So I've nicked some of his greens and wrapped it up in lettuce with mint leaves, with soy sauce and chillies, and it's actually pretty good. The town's probably going to be quite busy today because it's Renunciation Day in Vietnam. Apparently there's a dance off going on, but I can't see anything because I'm too short. She's got the right idea. That's what I need. So we're waiting at 100 Roofs, also known as the Maze Bar, so we can go and explore with our friends. Here we go.